deal with airplane peanuts.
Nikki Glaser made $400,000 hosting the 82nd annual Golden Globes, but the live performance on January 5th may have earned her a whole lot more in the future after reports surfaced claiming the comedian has signed a 3-year contract to host the award show through 2028.
I mean, I put her on The Tonight Show years ago, and I thought she was great then. She was great last night. I bet she's back next year. I bet she becomes the host. I hope she does.
To put into context how popular Nikki Glaser's performance has become, the clip of her opening monologue at the Golden Globes was viewed 400,000 more times in 7 days on YouTube than the Shane Gillis Saturday Night Live monologue, which was posted 10 months prior to a channel with far more subscribers.
It's hard to find people to do these shows. Like, it was funny to me when I got asked to do it. They're like, do you want to host the Golden Globes? I'm like, who's turning this down? But it turns out like a lot of people do. Like,
well, you know why they turn it down.
Gig.
It's a tough gig.
Two of the most memorable Golden Globes hosting jobs have both happened in the last 5 years, with Ricky Gervais in 2020 and Joe Coy in 2024. Joe Coy, of course, is remembered for receiving an enormous amount of backlash for his set, where he made jokes about Taylor Swift and the Barbie movie, while also throwing his writers under the bus for anything that didn't land. The craziest thing about that Joe Coy situation was he accepted that job, which most comedians consider a hell gig, on just 14 days notice, and it obviously showed in his performance. Nikki Glaser, however, started preparing in November and already has lots of experience working on high-profile roasts and writing one-time quick-hitting jokes directed at specific topics and people, which is the same format needed to host an award show. She also went overkill on preparation for this event, putting so much work in beforehand that the real thing was basically guaranteed to go well.
What do you think about the Golden Globes? She's gonna kill it.
I think so. She's done it 108 times.
I've seen it a bunch, and she's killing it.
Literally 108.
Bro, her work ethic, dude.
It's
Unreal.
stupid.
Yeah, she's got Asian work ethic.
She has Tiger Mom work ethic.
She really does. And she would do like 3 or 4 sets a night.
5. Sometimes she did
Sometimes
5. Absurd. You would never. We would never.
I would never do that. I would do it 3 times, and then I would say, I don't want to hate the jokes, so I'm going to stop trying.
Well, if you do it too many times, you can't blame the writers. At some point, you can't blame the writers.
Oh,
so if you do it
interesting.
little, you can blame the writers.
I like that.
Right. You do it less, you blame them. You do it more, it's you. You did
Right.
it. We saw her do it. Ice House Store. She went to the Improv, the Factory.
I've seen her in every room doing it.
Unbelievable.
Besides practicing her jokes all over LA for the past 2.5 months, Nikki Glaser also made the wise decision of reaching out to the one comedian who has hosted the Golden Globes more than anyone else in its 82-year history.
I was able to have a quick phone call with Ricky Gervais. The thing I got out of our phone call that stuck with me is that don't think you're them. You wouldn't be in this room unless you were hosting. These are A-listers. They know I'm not them. So if I try to seem like I am, they're gonna kind of be like, what? Who does she think she is? But just stay humble and remember, like, you have a job to do. You're hired to be funny, and you're not hired to like think you're hot shit and like think you're an A-lister.
You heard she got advice from Gervais.
Really?
He had a great line. He goes, 1, you're not one of them, so don't try to fit in. Be you. Be a comic.
That's good.
Be biting. And 2, just know when you go out there, they're not going to shut up. They're all talking and kind of milling about, and there's a bunch of shit going on. Don't let that get in your head.
That is a hell gig.
It's a hell gig.
She will look good doing it.
Oh, she'll kill it.
And she'll put the work in. Like, she knows.
Yes, she always does.
You got to run this shit through the mud, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I feel like even for our thing, we had a week to do it. We were up every night.
Yep.
4 or 5 times a night. Shit.
Writing at lunch, writing on the flight, writing in the clubs, in the back,
and
tweaking.
She's done roasts. She's done multiple roasts, and she always kills. So you know what you got to do.
These are interesting, too, because we could we're talking about and Diddy and Stephen Hawking. You kind of have to clean it up on these, but she's going to find a way to be biting still, which is, I think, one of her
And that's
strong
a fun challenge.
points.
It's like, man, I would love to do a clean one sometimes just for the challenge.
Most comedians would agree that hosting an award show is a very difficult position to be in for a variety of reasons, including the limitations of jokes you can tell on live TV, the pressure and size of the event as a whole, and the huge yet fragile egos of the people you have to make jokes about also doubling as your audience, which generally all put together makes for a high risk and low reward situation, as we saw with Joe Coy.
I'm not even blaming him. I would never want it. It's like the worst gig ever.
It's a weird...
Would you take it?
I wouldn't.
Would you take it?
They would never ask.
They would never ask.
Hypothetically.
No, because it's not the hypothetical is that they would.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't belong in. No, I don't. No.
I don't think it would make sense for me to do it.
Why would we?
I would do billboards if that was still around.
I would. There's things
Billboard
I would.
Award?
Yeah.
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 Maybe.
I don't know. I would do
People's Choice.
Did they do? Does the Apollo have award ceremony?
Soul
I would love
Train?
that. I would love Soul Train awards.
Soul Train Awards.
Oh.
There was a skirmish at one of them recently. It was a kind of a melee.
By the way, the best white word about an all-black fight is a skirmish.
A skirmish.
There's a skirmish out there
It's a
happening.
melee. Something happened.
But even when comics do well at hosting, they're still not too eager to return.
I don't think people know how hard it is to just do it, but then to really go for it. Get those jokes past censor, say things to people's faces, actually say it in front of huge corporations, CEOs, you know, the biggest producers. I do it like I couldn't give a shit, but it's hard work. It's hard work to do it as well as you can. Even if you come up with how good it is, a lot of people worry about it, so you've got to fight to make it good. Even if you've come up with something that's good, because everyone's scared of fucking complaints and everyone wants to please everyone. And that's why they're usually anodyne. So it's tough to get your own way to make it as good as you know you can make it. And I don't know why I bother.
Nikki Glaser, on the other hand, is built for a role exactly like this, and it wouldn't be surprising if she ends up being remembered more for her hosting and roasting than actual stand-up specials when it's all said and done. After the Tom Brady roast became the most viewed thing on all of Netflix in 2024, it only seems obvious they'll keep investing in live roast formats, and with all the exposure Nikki Glaser's recently received, she now has a lifetime invitation to any roast that wants to be taken seriously. Plus, already having roasted the likes of Alec Baldwin and Tom Brady under your belt gives you unprecedented experience of delivering brutal jokes in the face of celebrities, which is needed to host award shows.
Nikki Glaser did the Golden Globe. She did a great job, right? She did a great job, and she was like just confident and fun and it was awesome. She did a great job. So I was just texting her saying, hey, congrats, that was awesome. And I said, were you nervous at all? You know, there's a lot of famous people. And then she's like, no. And I was like, and then I was thinking, it doesn't even seem like people are that fame has kind of gotten different over the years. Does it seem like that at all? It used to just be like they were movie stars, you know? But now it seems like it's just changed. Like you could have just as much infatuation for somebody that you saw that made an entertaining video on Instagram as you could for Tom Cruise, you know?
For a long time, it really seemed like award shows in general were dying off and becoming a thing of the past. But technically now, the last 2 Golden Globes have made some pretty big headlines. Plus, this is the second year in a row of the Joke World Awards, which is the only comedy award show voted on 100% by the fans. I'm not sure if that's true, but I'm pretty sure it is. The Joke World Awards started last year as a way for real comedy fans like yourself to crown a People's Champ in categories like Comedian of the Year, Podcast of the Year, Special of the Year, and more. The link to the award show voting is in the description below, and once this video is live, that means voting is also live, so it starts right now. Happy voting, but watch the end of this video because there's some more award show info coming after these 2 segments. Guest spots from last week: The Joe Rogan Experience sat down with Theo Von, Mel Gibson, and Mark Zuckerberg. Matt and Shane were finally back together on their secret podcast. Louis J. Gomez and Joe List were on Kill Tony. Bad Friends invited Jet Ski Johnson and Rudy Jules to the show. Two Bears, One Cave was Bert and Tom, Tom and Bert. Tiger Belly featured Adam Ray. Adam also made it weird with Pete Holmes. We Might Be Drunk had on Andrew Santino in LA. Jowing Summers was the guest on Whiskey Ginger. Ian Fidance took a ride on the Heartland Highway. The Legion of Skanks featured Chris Vega and Chris Stanley. Jeff Dye was on Bertcast. Henry Zabrowski and Ed Larson sat on the couch with Soder. Stephen Colbert was the guest on Working It Out. You Know What Dude featured Judy Gold. Sam Tripoli and Armie Hammer came all over your mom's house. Mark Norman and Big J Okerson stopped by Something's Burning. And Kevin Hart was also on Burbs Bros.
So I'm bombing, whatever, and you start getting a little angry and a little flustered, and I'm sweating, and this guy comes in with a hat down, black mask on, like a COVID mask, and he's got like 6 guys with him, and they sit in the front, and they're talking, they're ordering, they're loud, and I'm just like, hey, dude, shut the fuck up. And he's like, what did you say to me? And I was like, hey, you're killing me. I'm trying to do my act here. You guys are talking, you're ruining the whole show. And he was like, f off, whatever. And then one of his bodyguards is like, hey, don't talk to him like that. I'm like, what's up with these two? And then I bomb and I get off, and they go, that was Leonardo DiCaprio. But if I had known that, I could have played with it.
Right.
This past weekend with Theo Von featured Joe Rogan. Stuff Island welcomed James McCann. Stavi's World was visited by Ian Lara. Naeem Ali stopped by the Tim Butterly Show and was on Dad Meat. Story Wars pitted Aaron Berg, Ari Shaffir, and Chris Vega against each other. Louis J. Gomez joined the Duncan Trussell Family Hour. Joe Mandy was on the Adam Friedland Show podcast. Jay Farrow was on the Fat Fish podcast. Fry Guy was the guest on Durag and the Deer Tag. Kyle Dunnigan went on First Date with Lauren Compton. Fitzdog Radio featured featured Ari Shaffir. R.I.P. Jordan Jensen talked with Matthew Broussard. Nick Swartzen was on The Honeydew. Paige Ginn sat in The Wayback. Dan Box was on Being Ian with Jordan. Ronnie Chang broke bread with Dom Papa. The Lewis and Zach Show featured Justin Silver and Tristan Bowling. Bad Friends was on The Tim Dillon Show. Tuesdays with Stories, Flagrant, Dynamite Rocket Ship, History Hyenas, Rough Week, Solid Show, This Bitch, and Are You Garbage all did not have guests. And we just uploaded the Best of 2024 interview compilation featuring moments from every single comedian we've chatted with last year, which will be on the end screen right after this. As far as brand new stand-up comedy specials are either out right now or coming out soon, Doug Stanhope Discount Meats is the big one that came out recently, and you can find the completely unedited version over on Doug's YouTube channel right now. Another big name with a new special out right now is Gabriel Iglesias' Legend of Fluffy, which is streaming on Netflix along with Ari Shaffir, America's Sweetheart, and Bill Maher, Is Anyone Else Seeing This, is out on Max. We also had Josh Johnson's weekly Tuesday upload, which has 2.2 million views in 6 days, 500,000 more than the most recent episode of Kill Tony, and one less day on YouTube.
Unbelievable.
There's also a few specials in the works right now that will be coming out soon, starting off with Hulu and Roy Wood Jr. on January 17th, when his new special Lonely Flowers will debut. On January 21st, May Planert has a new special coming out on Prime Video, and 1 week after that, Lisa Traeger, Night Owl, will debut on Netflix. And next month, Chris Stefano, It's Just Unfortunate, will be out on Hulu. But other than that, voting for the Joke World Awards will officially end at midnight on Sunday, January 19th. So save the link below if you want to vote for your favorite comedians every day until then. And again, the categories are Comedian of the Year, Special of the Year, YouTube Special of the Year, Podcast of the Year, Podcast Guest of the Year, Newcomer of the Year, and one surprise category that you'll have to see on the website. All of the winners will be announced in a results video a few days after voting closes that you can catch over on our second channel, Clip World. The Joke World Awards are just supposed to be a fun thing, so hopefully you guys have a good time voting, and feel free to share the link with anyone in your life that you know likes comedy. It just feels like the more votes we get, the more official the results feel. But let me know in the comments if you have any questions on any of the voting stuff. That's it. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll probably have another one coming out soon, so turn on the post notifications, you fucking bitch. Sorry about that. I didn't mean it.
At Joke World. That's it, at Joke World.
And the world is WRLD.
That's a great YouTube channel, Joke World. Check it out.